Hi, Sandra here from AtelierVintageRose. Here is the tutorial for this little tote bag. It's from an 8 by 8 inch piece of paper, but I used a 12 by 12 inch piece of paper to make all of this also. 4 cards, 2 tags, an envelope and some words and a rosette with a tiny bow. So yeah, here it comes. Have fun! The first thing I do is I determine how and where do I want my design on my paper. I've got two big elements in this design. That is the 4 cards and the 1 tote bag. So I immediately see in this paper that I want my 4 cards on the top row. So this one is going to be on the top. And I want my bag here somewhere. And I think the big flowers are nice for my tags, so I will put my bag on this side. I will show you what I'm going to do. This is my 8 by 8 template, and so I'm going to cut this one at 8 inches and then that one at 8 inches. The next step is I'm going to cut this one at 3 inches. I have to cut off this strip of paper with the text on it, but then I have a 3-inch one, and then I'm going to make 4 cards 3 by 3 inches. So these are the elements that I'm going to work with. I'm going to make a rosette out of this. I'm going to make cards with that. These are going to be tags and this is going to be the bag. Let's start with the bag. Here is my template. It's the same method as the 12-inch tote bag that I have a tutorial on my channel. First of all, I'm going to make the handles. So I'm going to cut off twice 1/2 inch. And I want them to be from the top because I want to save these flowers for the bag itself. So I'm going to cut off twice 1/2 inch from that side. Take your scoreboard, and we have an 8-inch side and a 7-inch side right now. On the 7-inch side, you are going to score on 2 7/8 from both sides. So let's do that. 2 7/8, and I'm going to score all the way down. I'm going to turn my paper 2 7/8 all the way down. Then you're going to put marks on the outside of these score lines at 1/4 inch. So that's on 2 5/8 of an inch. You're going to put 2 marks, and you're going to do that on the bottom as well. Then you're going to turn your paper to the 8-inch side, cut until the score line from the top and from the bottom at 6 inches. So I'm going to open up in this one, and you can also do the other methods that I show you in the other tutorial from the 12-inch bag. Then I just draw lines with my pencil and I cut it out by hand. And now I want to try this on my cutting board. So I put it at 6 inches. And here's my score line. So I have to cut it up until that score line. And in my case, I'm going to put my thing just above it. You have some lines here. And I'm going to put it on and just draw it up. And for the other one, I'm going to put it on my score line and pull it down. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I put it at 6 inches here, and then I'm going to find my score line, put my cutter above it and cut up, and I'm going to do the same thing down. So I'm going to find my score line, and I'm going to cut down. Those are the cuts. Then I'm going to rotate my paper again, and I just marked these two places. What you can do is you can put your score line on the 1/4 inch mark, and then just try to find your cut here. Can you see that? You find your cut, and then you have to cut this stripe off, so not the score mark but a 1/4 inch beside the score mark. So I'm going to place my score line on the 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to see where my cut line is, and I'm going to cut it out like that. Cut out. I'm going to do that again with the other one. Again, my score line is on the 1/4 inch. I have a cut right here. I hope you can see that. I'm going to place this one on there, and then I'm going to cut it down, and again I have a corner. I'm going to do the same thing with the other two corners. So this is what we've got so far, and the next step is to cut those little flaps into an angle. So the bulk is gone from the little corners that you have here. So first of all, I'm going to fold all my score lines. I hope I cut them up until that score line. Yeah, I did. So fold these little flaps in. As I said, it's the same method as the bigger bag. And then we are going to cut these corners off. So these are the little corners that we're going to cut the bulk out of. So those little corners, as you can see, are cut off. And now the only thing we have to do is we have to make these score lines. I think the easiest thing to do that is you can take your scoreboard back in, but I think this is the easiest way to do it. I'm going to score it with my score tool, just like that, and like that. It's the first time I tried this method with the scoreboard, and I think my, well, it's not as clean as I hoped, but that's, for me, it's okay. I'm going to make it a shabby chic bag, so I'm going to ink it, I'm going to distress it, so it's okay. Then we're going to fold this in, like that. And the last thing for this one is right now to get rid of my pencil lines here in these corners. And that's it. We are going to assemble the pockets right now. For the pockets, I'm going to use the rose side of my paper to put the pockets on my bag like that. And I'm going to take two of those rose papers, and I'm going to score them 1/4 inch on 3 sides. So this is the top of my pocket, and 1/4 inch on 3 sides. But then I have 2 other pockets that I want beside that. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to cut a piece of this pocket off because it's too high. Let me see if I can show that on camera. Like this. I'm going to say, okay, this is going to be the top of my pocket, and I'm going to cut this off, and for the other one as well, because we can use that piece to stamp a sentiment on, or even a little bow, make it a little bow. but we can use that piece of paper. So first of all, I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to score the same thing for this high pocket. Is this smaller pocket is 1/4 of an inch on each side. I'm going to fold those little edges over. Sorry. It's very tiny edges and it's a bit of a thick paper. It's handy if you use a little bit of a thicker paper for this bag. And then you're going to cut this corner out. So you have 3 score marks here, and you're going to make it a pocket by cutting out that corner. I'm going to do the same thing here, and that is about all the scraps that you will have for, here are my scraps for this bag. Even if you do it from an 8x8 paper, then you can have just this as scraps. So I'm going to do that with all 4 of the pockets. The next step is to round off your corners from the bag. So I have a punch here. You can use whatever corner rounder you've got. Sometimes you have a envelope maker and there's a round punch in there, or you have that you've got the crocodile corner chomper. You can use that, but this time I'm going to just use my punch here to just punch some corners on this bag, and then I'm going to ink in, on my edges from everything, and I'm going to do that with walnut stain distress oxide ink from Ranger, and I'm going to do that and I will be back. I'm going to glue my pockets on now. So I want them like this, and this one I want like, oh, I have to do it right. This is the bottom, of course, like this. So that's how I'm going to glue my pockets on. The first thing we're going to do now is to mark on your bag. I forgot that. I glued it down first, but no, don't glue it down. Mark on the top of your bag on the sides. You go in 3/8 of an inch in and 3/4 of an inch down, and you're going to mark like 3/8 of an inch, like on the side, a little score mark or a little pen mark, and then on the 3/4 of an inch down you put another pen mark. So when you want to glue your handles later, then you can just put them on that mark and then you can glue them down. So that's a step I forgot again in the other tutorial as well, but this is the easiest way to mark where your handles are going to be. The next step is to glue these little tabs in on the side. So we're going to glue the back together. So just put glue on there and just hold it like that. Like so, and that's why again I use the fabric glue, because this one holds very quickly. And then I'm going to do the other side, like so. Like so. And then you're gluing the other side. Next thing is we're going to round the handles with a bone folder, and I want this side to show. So I'm going to round them like that. So we are going to stick the handles down, and my handles are going to be like this. I marked my pieces in there. I don't know if that shows on camera, but it's 3/8 of an inch in, and I have a mark here at 3/4 of an inch down. So I'm going to glue my handles in. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the outside of my handle, like so. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the top of my handle. Or on top of my bag, sorry, the inside of my bag. So I'm going to put this in that corner, so you can barely see the marks that I made, and I'm going to hold it. I'm sorry this does not really show well on camera. I hope I can show you the inside. It's like this, and you're going to do that for all 4 sides. And I'm going to have the handle on the front, so the other one is going like this. You're going to bend this one like so, and then you're going to glue that on the marks that you put inside of the bag. This tote bag is ready to be decorated. Now I'm going to proceed with the cards. For the base of my cards, I just cut out from a 12-inch piece, I just cut out 6 inches, 3 inches and 6 inches like that. And then you fold them and you have 4 cards. I'm going to distress the edges of my cards, and I'm going to ink them in and distress them and then stick them on the card. So we have a bag and we've got 4 base cards, well, base cards with the paper on it. Now I'm going to take this piece that was cut off from beside the bag, this piece, and I'm going to first take a square that is 4 by 4 inches. And with my mini envelope punch board, you can use the big punch board too, I'm going to make a little money envelope. You can also, from that strip, you don't have to make it 4 by 4, because I'm going to make 2 tags out of this, and then I have a piece left over for my either a banners or a bow. But if you just put this whole piece, if you save it, you can, with squares you can do anything. You can make so much things with squares, but you can for example fold this over and just put the gift card in there, so you have another card. But I'm going to make a little envelope because I have this little scoreboard. So I need a 4-inch piece of paper, a square. So I'm going to cut that off first. I have my paper like this, and I'm going to put that aside. I have my paper like this, and then I have to first put the mark at 2 1/4 here on the side, and I'm going to score only 3 times on this envelope scoreboard, because I want, like this one, I want my top flap to stay straight, so I only score 3 times. So 2 1/4, I think you know how this works. You score it and you punch it. I'm going to stand up for this one. Then you rotate it, you follow the score line with the notch here, you punch it. Oh, I'm so handy. And you score it like this. And then the third time you're going to punch it and score it. And that's all you're going to do with this machine. Again, that little piece is these little pieces are still the leftover of this paper. I see that I forgot to punch a notch there. Sorry. I'm going to line this score line up and put a notch there. I don't score it, but I have to get this piece off so it's all equal. So this is going to be my envelope. Flip it down. So. And you can put a gift card in there. And we're going to decorate this later on. So we have cards, we have a bag, and now we are moving on to the rest of the leftover of the papers. Since I want my 2 tags to be 3.5 inches high, I'm going to cut off a little piece. On this I want 3.5 inch high. So I'm going to cut off this little strip. We can use that later. Sorry, I was not in frame. 3.5 inches. And since this is like 4 inches, I'm going to cut this one at 2 inches. So I have 2 tags that are 2 by 3.5 inch. Then I'm going to just cut one corner off. I eyeball it. I think that's nice. Then I'm going to get this one behind there, and I can measure that up with the other one. Do the same thing here. Just turn it around, measure it up, and then I can use the other one as a guideline for this one. So again, these are all the little scraps you have. It's just corners that you cut off. Then I'm going to ink these ones in. So those are the 2 tags. For my leftover strip, I'm going to cut it at 8 inches and 3/4 of an inch to make a rosette. These are all the items that I got from this one sheet of paper. I just made a little bow that you can put on here or wherever you want to put that. And I'm going to decorate it off a camera because everyone decorates it differently. But you have an envelope for money or a gift tag. You have got 2 tags and you've got 4 of these cards that I'm going to put some phrases on, and I've got some stamps here. And then you still have these little leftovers that you can stamp on and use as decoration in this little bag. So this is what's going in. This is the loaded tote bag, and it's not so loaded right now, but it's from one piece of paper, of 12-inch paper, and if you've decorated it, it's a little bit more bulky. So yeah, have fun making it. I hope you understand everything. I think you do. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below, and have fun making these. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. See you next time.